Hello folks, this is Sullla speaking. You're listening to another video on League of Legends, this one featuring Twisted Treeline? Why yes, in fact, there is another map in League of Legends, one that nobody seems to play, but we're going to be playing it today here. So what we're going to have is 3v3 action on Twisted Treeline. I'm going to be playing as Shyvana, alongside me is VarisNox playing as Cho'Gath, and Fallen Asylum playing as Rengar. Then we are matched up against a team of Gangplank, Gragas, and Cho'Gath. So let me talk a little bit about this map, which people are not particularly familiar with. Twisted Treeline is a map that is very outdated in terms of design. Riot has not updated this map since very early in 2010, so there are a lot of design elements on here that are very outdated, and for people that are used to playing Summoner's Rift, particularly in terms of the jungle. I will go through and talk about that and explain a little bit of that in this video. I am not an expert on Twisted Treeline, but I have watched some of the top players play recently. Why are we playing on Twisted Treeline? Well, it's getting close to the end of Season 2. We figure that we might as well try to get a ranking in Threes play as well as on Summoner's Rift. You do get, the end of season benefits for playing on Twisted Treeline. So I've been trying to theory craft this a little bit and try to figure out a little bit of how to play on this map. And I'm going to try to describe and explain a little bit of Twisted Treeline for you. This is us practicing in normal play before getting ready to go and run an actual ranked team. Now, the threes metagame is something that is not very well developed because so few people play on Twisted Treeline, but there is a threes metagame, and the general idea is to have some kind of tanky melee bruiser in top lane. We're going to be running Rengar as an example of that. We're going to be using Rengar on Fallen Asylum in this particular game. Melee ADs in top lane are sort of the basic idea, so Rengar is a good example, Darius, Jax, champions like that. Even somebody like Shinzao or Renekton can be a really strong choice up there in top lane. You also need to have some kind of a source of magic damage. We're going to be using VarisNox's Cho for that. Champions that are sort of tanky AP are really good choices for that role. Cho'Gath, Singed, Rumble, Gragas, Diana, to a lesser extent Diana and Katarina. They're not particularly tanky, but they're monoliths, and that makes them good on this map. So some kind of source of magic damage. And then some kind of jungler as well, which is why I'm playing as Shyvana. Note that I've brought the Smite here in this game. Now, there are some problems with jungling on Twisted Treeline, and that's because this isn't the old jungle. This is not the Season 2 jungle. This is the old Season 1 jungle. And in fact, there are some separate camps on this map too. In fact, I actually do a bit of a bad path here up in the top jungle, and I actually screw up my jungle path. So I'll talk more about that later. I actually cleared a camp, the big Wraith camp, which is the white buff on this map. I'll talk more about the specific Twisted Treeline buffs later. So I actually messed up my jungle route there. But I note that I chose to start Cloth Armor 5 health pots. That's because the neutral minion camps are extremely difficult to clear at the start of the game on Twisted Treeline. You want to emphasize a champion that builds Wriggles first. So that means a jungler like Shyvana or Lee Sin are really good choices because there are some of the few champs that still build Wriggles. Nunu is about the only other practical jungler who kind of works on this map, and that's just because of Nunu's unique skill set. So I'll talk more about that as we go along. Right now, I am looking to try to clear camps. Right now I'm level 3. And I didn't start with boots, but I sort of run into their team right here and kind of get caught here out by their Gragas. He's going to ignite me, and I'm going to go very low. Am I going to survive this? And nope, 2 HP. No first blood for you, Gragas. Going to be able to slip out of there. And now Fallen Asylum has turned, gone after, and he's going to manage to pick up the first blood right there. He's going to get exhausted, flashes over the wall, a nice defensive rupture from Varys' Cho'Gath, but they are going to pick off that kill in the end. Are we going to be able to get the kill on their own Cho'Gath, the Jurassic Joe? No, not going to be able to. Now Varys needs to get out of there. Again, he's being slowed by those Gangplank auto attacks. Going to flash, and that's going to get him clear. So we go 1 for 1, but we picked up first blood in the process, so a slight advantage to our side. Now, the problem that I did, or one of the problems with the jungle is random. Yes, where camps spawn is random, and people who played League of Legends very early on might have been familiar with this. So I'm going to turn off the Fog of War for a minute. Right here, this is one of the small camps. This camp can be a wolf camp, or it can be a golem camp. and it's random as to which one you get. And this is how the jungle used to be on Summoner's Rift as well, way back in the day. So you can potentially get a golem camp or a wolf camp up here in the corners. Similarly, there's two different buff camps that spawn. There's a wolf camp, and the wolf camp is generally easier to clear in the early game. Easier to clear than that wraith camp, but you can get in these two spots, you can get either a wolf camp or a wraith camp. In either case, you can get either the big wolf or you can get the big wraith, and it's totally random what will spawn in each one. You might have one of each. For example, on this map we had a big wolf camp and we had a big wraith camp, but you can also get two wraith camps or you can get two wolf camps. It's totally random which one spawns. And as you might imagine, that makes strategizing and planning extremely difficult on this map. You kind of have to have multiple jungle paths depending on which camps end up spawning. It's the same thing down here in the bottom jungle. You can get this camp, which is a golem, a lizard, and a small lizard, or you can get, here, note that it's duplicated. You can get this on both sides, or you can get another wraith camp down here. You can get a small wraith camp. And again, it's totally random which one will spawn. So yeah, it makes planning very difficult. Now, I got counter jungled back there. Their team warded up here, which is something you actually rarely see. They actually placed a ward up here to keep track of my movements, and that was really nicely done by them. You don't usually see this kind of level of sophistication. So I'm clearing out these camps, but they know I'm up here because they warded that, so they're going to look to try to counter me right now. The good news is I finished my Madrid's Razor, which is really crucial to clear those camps quickly. You need a Wriggles or you know, a Madrid's Razor, a Razor building towards a Wriggles very quickly. So they're coming up here. We did ward this. Fallen Asylum's looking to turn and fight, so we've got a 2v2 up here. Varis is on his way up as well. We're looking to turn this fight around. Rengar is really strong on this map. I'm going to use my exhaust on Gragas right there, so that's going to pick off a kill for us. Now, the one problem is we have left Gangplank down here. He is free farming, but we were able to group up and we're able to pick off a kill. So if we're able to get back down the bottom lane and hold that tower, we'll come out pretty far ahead of this. And that was a nice play for us. So there's a lot of skirmishing on 3v3. You need to have tankier champions in general because there's so much fighting back and forth. There also is just much less time for farming overall on this map. This map tends to be won or lost much quicker than on Summoner's Rift. The games are generally about 20 minutes instead of roughly 30 to 35 minutes. So there's just less farming. There's no real room for supports on this map generally. So that's one of the reasons why the metagame emphasizes tanky-ish bruiser champions as opposed to Summoner's Rift. You don't really see ADs play sort of traditional AD carries because there just isn't enough time for them to farm up. The logic behind the AD carry is, you know, if you're playing, I don't know, Kog'Maw or you're playing your Corki or whatever, they farm for the first 20 minutes and they get enough items to be able to cut through the armor of bruisers. On this map, there's just not enough time for them to farm up that high. So that's why you just go with more bruisers. Anyway, down here, the other key camp on the map I haven't talked about yet is the red buff. This is exactly the same as the red on Summoner's Rift. Same buff, the slow, and it gives you a slow and a burnout damage over time. Up here, they're attacking Fallen Asylum. Is he going to be able to escape? But watch the jukes. He pops his ult, he stealths, and he's going to leap, and he's actually going to escape. And while that was going on, I took the red buff. They're actually going to burn Gangplank ult, but they're still not going to catch him. Now we're going to look to try to turn this around. There's the Rupture hitting Gragas up into the air. There's their own counter Rupture. Yes, mirror matches are annoying. Here comes Gangplank though. But we were able to secure that red, and securing the neutral buffs really is the path to victory on this map. You rarely will see people take a jungler in Twisted Treeline maps. They should, but you rarely will see it. Again, it just makes more sense. There's two lanes in a jungle. You want to have one person farming each lane and then someone farming the jungle. So it just makes more sense to have a jungler, but you often won't see teams running one, except at sort of very high levels of play. Anyway, I'm going to pick up the big wolf camp. That gives me the green buff here. I'll highlight it. Gives you attack speed, 20% attack speed, 10% CDR, 10% cooldown reduction. Together, we're going to knock down Gragas right there, just 3v1 up here. Now, the downside is with Varus being up here, Gangplank is getting free run on that tower, and Fallen Asylum slightly miscalculates there, thought that he could finish off Cho'Gath. Instead, Cho'Gath limps out at 18 HP, and the tower finished off Fallen Asylum. So that was a misplay on our part. And the bad thing is, Gangplank was still down in bottom lane, pushing that tower. So they actually are going to come out way ahead in that particular exchange. And that was just miscoordination on our part. So Gangplank is actually pretty far ahead of the rest of us right now. In terms of the gold, he's ahead of everyone except me. And I've been farming the jungle. I managed to just barely get out of there. Now, I mentioned the Big Wolf Camp gives you... Big Wolf Camp is the green buff, 20% attack speed, 10% CDR. There is the white buff that you get, white or gray buff that you get from clearing the Big Wraith Camp. And that increases movement speed by 30%. So this is really nice for chasing. With red and white, I run ridiculously fast. Watch at my movement speed, 550. It's really quite humorous how fast Shyvana will run when she's got this. So with red, you know, you slow on your auto attacks, and with the white buff, you're super fast. So it makes for a nice combination if you can put them together. Now, another thing, the other really big buff on this map is the dragon buff right here. Right here. This is this map's equivalent of Baron. Now, again, one of the problems with this map is the dragon is much too easy to kill. This was a problem with Baron, too, way back in the day, and Riot buffed Baron. Anyone with Wriggles can solo the dragon very easily. So note that I'm able to come up here. I'm going to solo dragon. That gives everyone on our team 300 gold. I get caught by Cho'Gath. I was trying to ult out, and hilariously, I got silenced, so I didn't go anywhere. Silenced and knocked up in the air. So once again, Gangplank's going to burn his ult. Fallen Asylum's chasing this down, and there's the Rengar burst. His double Q hits, and that's going to be extra damage there. So why is Dragon so important? Well, for one thing, you can kill Dragon super early in the game. It's worth a ton of gold. Well, I'll get back to that in a minute. Watch, Gangplank's going to come in. I'm going to run in the brush. I'm going to exhaust him as soon as he gets here. It cuts his damage down to nothing. Now we're all going to pile on. There's a great rupture from Varys, and 2 HP. Nope, not going to die again. Nice try, Gangplank. But Exhaust able to prevent most of his damage. He used his Ignite, but it wasn't quite enough damage to finish me off. So we were able to pick off that kill, and now we're starting to snowball ahead. We've got a 2,000 gold lead, and that's pretty significant on this map. Grog is going to use his ult defensively to try and prevent us from taking this tower. We are going to be forced off this tower. In fact, now their Cho is coming up from bottom lane, and we are in a lot of trouble tanking. A lot of tower shots there. The Feast is going to finish off Fallen Asylum, and now Varys needs to get out of here. Is he going to be able to escape? Let's see. He still only has boots 1. He's going to dodge the rupture, though, and now I'm back here again, and we have enough damage that we're going to be able to force them off of this. I'm chasing, and they are going to back off. Grog is going to go over the wall, and Cho'Gath going to use a defensive rupture there. So that fight's going to come to a close. Anyway, though, dragon buff. What does the dragon do? Again, it's worth a ton of gold. It's worth 300 gold for each person. And on a map that's this small, that's a huge deal. The other thing it gives is it gives you a damage buff. You get a percentage increased damage, and it's whatever your level is. So, for example, I'm level 9, so I get 9% extra damage, both from auto attacks and from skills. So it's quite a big deal. Makes for a big advantage in team fights. You want to control the dragon at all times possible. Right there, we're going to take the red buff. We're going to get that on Varys. He's going to feast it. Now we're looking to turn, and Varys is low, so we're going to disengage from this fight. But again, winning on Twisted Treeline is all about controlling the jungle, controlling the dragon, and controlling the red. Their team has all three here. They're going to use Gangplank ult. I was going to jump out. I didn't want to tank that damage. Instead, though, Fallen Asylum's here. He is going to use his burst on Gangplank. The Ignite will pick off the kill, and now the chase is on after this Gragas player. Trying to chase after him. He's going to use his ult defensively once again. Are we going to be able to chase this down? No. In fact, he's going to use his body slam to move over the wall. And again, this is part of the reason why champions like Gragas are very good. Champions that can go over walls are really strong. There's the double Q. Is it going to be enough damage? No, not quite. Gragas is going to flash away, but that is going to give us a little bit of time to push this tower here because Gragas is low, Cho'Gath is low. Unfortunately, though, our minion wave is going to disappear, and I was like, oh, no, gotta run away. Oh, 50 HP. Okay, going to be enough. Fallen Asylum going to use his heal right there, and he's going to be okay as well. So anyway, we did definitely win that round of exchanges again, and now we got to be ready to heal, buy, and fight again on this map. In terms of itemization, what I'm going for here is you usually want one person with the Wriggles just for Dragon and red buff Lizard control. And we actually have gone with the double Wriggles, which is pretty strong normally. Wriggles is much better on this map than it is on Summoner's Rift. Again, damage, armor, lifesteal, all good things. And again, the armor is useful against most team comps. Most team comps are pretty AD heavy. This team actually had way more magic damage than most teams. So that was a little bit surprising. Wriggles maybe not quite as good against them as on some other maps. Anyway, otherwise in bottom lane, Varys has gone for the double gold pretends. You can build gold pretends on this map. They're not necessarily bad. I mean, it kind of depends on context. You can also just go You know, on Cho'Gath you could also just go like 2 double Doran's Rings into like an Abyssal Scepter. Something like that is also quite strong. You probably are not going to see as many Rod of Ages, that kind of thing. Anyway, I picked up the white buff again, so now I run super fast around the map, and I'm looking to go around here and clear camps, but their team actually cleared out some of the camps. And again, that's something you typically don't see. Most people who don't play this map are not that sophisticated about sort of on how to play Twisted Treeline, and oftentimes you'll see people just totally ignoring the top jungle, which of course is silly, but you will see it a lot. Anyway, we need to be ready for Dragon to respawn. Dragon respawns every 5 minutes, so let's see, it will be respawning at 15:36, so it's respawning in a couple seconds. In the meantime though, we do have a fight right here. I tossed down a ward with using my Wriggles, and we're looking to try to catch these guys right here. So Fallen Asylum's going to get knocked back by Gragas ult, but Varys is going to use his ult to knock Gragas up in the air, so that's 1 kill that we're able to pick off. And with that kill in hand, we are going to be able to pick our target. I'm going to try to ult over the wall. I don't make it. Didn't know the range of Shyvana's ult right there, which is really a shame. Should have just run this way, and it would have been an easy kill on the Gangplank. So that was a major mistake on my part. I don't know why we all ran this way. If I just ran this way and then ulted like here, that would have been a really easy kill. Anyway, the Dragon is up on the map. We do have Gragas dead. We have Gangplank chunked really low, so this is going to clear the way for us to go and do Dragon. Again, with our double Wriggles, we can kill Dragon really, really fast. So that's what we're going to look to do. My Smite is also up. Now, they do have this warded, so they know that it's up, but by the time that they get here, we should be able to pick this off before they can manage to show up and fight this. So note how fast the Dragon goes down. It doesn't have enough life, and it doesn't scale up quickly enough. So there we go. Dragon's already dead by the time they get here. And now we can look to turn and fight this once again. We're going to go in. We want to kill Gangplank first. He's the least tanky member of the enemy team. He's the one who will die the fastest. Next, we're going to turn and focus our attention on Gragas. I don't know why he's not body slamming out. Maybe it was on cooldown, or he got silenced by Varys when he tried to use it. But in any case, that's 2 kills. We've got Dragon, and now we've got a sizable lead, 14,500 gold. So now we want to try to use our advantage to push, or we would. Fallen Asylum's clearing another camp, but we want to try to cash in our advantage, look to push. We've got the extra damage buff. Note that it's up to 11% on me because I'm level 11. Same thing for Varys, up to 11% because he's level 11. And again, we just want to keep controlling these camps, want to get the Lizard camp as well. Winning on this map is all about controlling the Lizard and controlling the Dragon. If you can continue to take those 2 camps, you should normally win the match. Their team has the right idea. Note that they warded Dragon. Note that they had a ward at Dragon before. They have a ward at Lizard buff. So they have the right idea. We've just been executing a little bit better than them. And again, part of that is having a jungler. A jungler just makes so much more sense. If you don't have a jungler, somebody's either roaming or you're running a 2-person lane. And either case is very inefficient. So it's something you'd want to avoid on this map. Anyway, though, so we've got the Dragon buff. We want to look to try to push. We want to look to fight them when we have that extra damage. Again, it's not even so much that the extra damage is good. I mean, of course it is, but more important is just the gold and the experience. You get global gold, and I believe you get global experience from the Dragon as well, and all of that really makes a difference. If you look at the levels, we're 12, 12, 12. They're 10, 10, 11. I mean, that makes a big difference. So anyway, this ward is still doing work here. Varys is going to capture them with a Rupture. Again, who do I focus first? I want Gangplank. He has no defensive items other than a Wriggles. He is the easiest one to kill. We want to look to finish him off. Fallen Asylum will pick off that kill. Next, Gragas. He is the next least tanky, although he has a lot of maneuverability. He is actually going to make his way out of here. He just flashed. He used his body slam for mobility. He's going to run away over here. He also has the white buff too. Yeah, he also has the white buff too, so he's very fast. But while he's healing, that's going to open up a path for us to push this lane and push this tower. And that's just a defensive ward to make sure we don't get ganked. So anyway, we are going to clear this tower, and the towers go down very fast on Twisted Treeline. They are weaker than they are on Summoner's Rift. So it goes down very, very quickly. And again, we just want to look to keep pushing while Gangplank is still dead, and we have the 3v2 advantage. So anyway, we're going to look to get in some damage on this tower. Hopefully we can take this tower down if we're careful. And right now Gangplank is back up, so we need to escape. We've got the tower down to more than half health, and now again we're going to look to turn and fight them. I'm slightly out of position here, but we do want to look to fight these guys because we're able to just blow up Gragas instantly with Fallen Asylum's damage. Rengar is really strong on Twisted Treeline. Now we're on to Cho. He fails his flash. He's getting slowed with the red buff that I had. Yeah, I still do have the red buff. He's getting slowed. He's not able to escape. So now we're going to look to take this tower. Now, a word about Twisted Treeline. You generally don't want to take the inhibitors unless you think you can win on that push. So we thought we could win on this push right here. That's the only reason we're taking the inhib. It's very easy to turtle in the base. Now, we make a mistake right here. We thought we had the minions with us, but we didn't, and the tower was actually shooting at us. The tower is going to switch to Fallen Asylum. Wait, no, it's shooting at me. But Gangplank's able to get this kill, and we're just tanking the tower, and we didn't realize we were tanking this tower, so we really botched that one pretty badly. And this tower does regenerate health. For some reason, we just thought that the minions were tanking the tower, and they weren't. And we didn't push the minions past this wave. So we would have killed that tower, but as it is, we weren't able to get it because we ended up tanking like 20 tower shots there. Well, maybe not that many, but we tanked a lot of tower shots. And we just basically botched that push there, which was very silly. So we're going to have to port out and heal up. We lost Fallen Asylum very unnecessarily. We should have gotten more out of that. Or we could have played this more conservatively. We could have just taken the tower, left the inhib up, and then went back to our base. Why not take the inhibs? Well, on this map, the problem is the base is very poorly designed on this map. The summoner platform is way, way too close to this tower. Much, much too close to the last base tower and the nexus. So it's very easy if the inhibs go down, you can simply stall the enemy team in your base. Yeah, look at where these creeps run. The laser will shoot out like right here on the platform. So you can just pull the super creeps into your base, they get killed by the laser, and then you can stall in your base. So it's very easy to stall out the enemy team and make it so they're not able to farm if you take the inhibs. And so basically you can keep farming and stalling and the other team can't, which obviously is a little bit silly. So right now Varys and Fallen Asylum are pushing this bottom lane tower. I'm keeping pressure on top right now, and they're going to burn Gangplank ult just to protect the tower, which is a little bit interesting. Fallen Asylum, see, it looks like he used his ult there as well. Yes, he did use his ult there. Okay. So anyway, red buff is respawn. We're going to look for that. And what we should be thinking of is Dragon's going to respawn at 21:21. That means it just respawned. So what we should have done is we should have all been standing here waiting for Dragon to respawn, and we should have killed it as soon as it popped. This was one of the first games that we did. Actually, it was the first game we played on Twisted Treeline, and I didn't have the timers down yet. I didn't know exactly when the Dragon respawned. So this was a mistake on our part. We should have just been there and killed Dragon when it respawned. They have Gangplank soloing it right now. We knew he was there. We had it worded. So we were like, okay, well, we can't get up there. Let's punish them for not having Gangplank here by taking this tower. You know, if he wants to do Dragon, he'll get Dragon, but we're going to get this tower down here. And while that's going on, so we'll take his tower, and now they only have one tower left in their base. And we, at this point, we were doing the inhib, but unfortunately we had tanked more tower shots, and so we're fighting in a bad way here. Now Gangplank is coming down, and this is trouble. I needed to dodge that rupture. I did not dodge that rupture. Now I'm getting slowed by Gangplank's autos, and that's going to be an ace. So we misplayed that one pretty badly. That was a serious mistake, and that's allowed the enemy team to get back into the game. We were at about a 6,000 gold lead. They ended killing sprees. They got Dragon. Now they're only about 4,000 gold behind. So that was, again, a serious mistake on our part right there. We misplayed that. What we should have done was we should have just been here waiting for the Dragon to respawn. Should have had a pink ward, killed their ward, and just killed it when it respawned. We had the timer. Could have done it. And instead, we ended up tanking a whole bunch of tower shots. We got low. They got grouped up, and then they were able to kill us. And of course, they now have the extra damage buff on Dragon. See, they've got 14% extra damage because they're level 14. So anyway, that was a misplay. Fortunately, we revived in time to prevent them from taking this tower. Right now, going after Gangplank, he's going to use his remove Scurvy. He's going to use his flash. He's going to use his ultimate, and he is going to escape, but he did have to use pretty much all of his skills right there. Fallen Asylum did use his flash as well, but we're not going to be able to catch up to him. He's just moving too fast. 436 movement speed, a little bit faster for Fallen Asylum, 455, but still not able to catch up. A nice defensive rupture. Anyway, their Gragas player is up here in the top jungle, so he's trying to clear camps. That's a good idea, trying to clear camps, but it does mean that, you know, hey, there is an open inhib here. We can just rush together and fight them in the base while they only have 2 people here, because Gragas was up there. So even though clearing neutral camps is a good idea, generally, Gragas was out of position right here. Anyway, we're going to take advantage of this. We are going to look to push this inhib. Now that we've taken one inhib, we might as well take the other one and look to take this. Again, we're trying to burst down Sho. He's very tanky. He does have that Rod of Ages and his Glacial Shroud. And are we going to be able to finish him off? No, he's going to make it back into the fountain, but we will get that inhib. And, you know, we're looking to turn on Gangplank, but not able to do so. Anyway, that inhib's about to respawn, so we're going to look to turn, force a fight up here in top lane. We'll come back, get this inhib, and again, we need to try to get into the base and finish this off. With those inhibs down, time is sort of not on our side, because it's going to be very difficult for us to farm. Again, with the super minions pushing the lane, the super minions will kill the enemy team's minions. You won't be able to farm them, so you have to be careful about that. Once you take the inhibs, you're kind of under time pressure to finish off the base and you know, push your way in and actually finish things off. Anyway, Gragas keeps coming out of the base, and right here, watch, we see Gangplank, and we're like, oh, fight this. He's so far out of his base, we can fight these guys. I'm going to use my exhaust on the Gangplank again. Varus hits a Rupture to knock him up in the air. Again, we want to finish Gangplank because he's not tanky, so he goes down first. Next, we'd like to go after Gragas. Instead, we catch Cho'Gath, so we're going to go after him. Can we finish him off before he gets to the summoner platform? No, but we do have the 3v2 advantage, and we're going to use that to kill this inhib. Meanwhile, the super minions are coming in here. We just need to kill this tower right now. We did take some damage there, and they had the chance to heal. Again, the summoner platform is too close to the base. We are going to get that tower. Fallen Asylum gets very low. Is he going to survive this? No, he is going to be finished off. We managed to pick off a kill on their Cho'Gath player. I am very, very low. Again, Gragas is going to escape back to the summoner's platform. So now the race is on. We've got to finish off this Nexus. Again, note the laser killing some of our super minions. So we've got to kill this base. We want to dodge those barrels. Gragas is going in. Varus is going to turn and fight him. Just need 1 or 2 more hits on the Nexus. And oh no! That is the saddest Gragas barrel ever. He throws out a barrel right at the last second to kill me. I mean, we won the game. Don't get me wrong, but that is such a sad, sad death. Anyway, we did manage to win this game, and it was a fairly successful threes game. So hopefully this gives a little bit of a taste for what the gameplay is like on this map. I really like the map. I just hate the fact that the map is so outdated in terms of design, with the camps that randomly spawn, with the dragon that's far too easy to kill. One person with the Wriggles can easily solo the dragon. So starting at about the 7 to 8 minute mark, it's very easy for teams to take it. If you have 2 people tank it, you can take it as early as when it spawns at like the 5 minute mark. So it's just much too easy to kill. Anyway, though, it is interesting to have another map, and we're going to play around with this a little bit. This game was a little bit rough. We made some mistakes on here, so hopefully I'll be able to get some footage later showing a more proper way to control this map. I made some mistakes jungling. We made some tactical mistakes in terms of pushing. It did make the game closer and more interesting, but hopefully I'll be able to show another game later where we don't make any mistakes. But again, the end of Season 2 is coming up, so if you want a chance to try to win on Twisted Treeline, this is the time to try it out. You know, take your shot. Maybe you can get to silver or gold or even higher if you have a chance to play some games. Anyway, though, once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this. See you again soon. Take care.